what I'm here for, what we're all here for, is rising to each challenge no matter the odds, because that's what heroes do. They rise.
Well, Steve.
Not Inferno. What's going on?
How are you?
Happy Comic-Con.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Yeah, almost, man.
How you doing?
I'm good, bud. Thanks for asking. I love coming to these Comic-Cons. It's nice being here promoting something else other than just Teen Wolf shows.
I'm sure.
I mean, that was a lot of fun, but it's it's nice that we can still keep that thing going.
Awesome.
How's it when you got the role? I know a lot of voice casting or voice sessions aren't always together. Did you guys ever pull together? Did you get solo?
We did, yeah. There was both.
Oh, there was. Okay.
So I've been doing cartoons for the last 4 years, 3-4 years, something like that. And this was the first experience I had where we got to do it together as a full cast, and that's always really fun. It's voiceover acting is always different than actually being on the camera. You kind of have to imagine things around you, imagine conversations with other people, and having the group there with you makes it easier to kind of make the lines more natural and have more fun with it, and it's a really, really, really rad experience. It's really cool.
Do you feel like you have a lot of bodily motion when you're acting in
dude, absolutely.
voice?
So,
Yeah.
One thing I noticed when I first got started in voice acting was that it's just your voice, so you have to really get the point across in your voice, your actions and the physicality of everything. And in order to do that for me, I get super animated and I sweat so much when I'm in the room. If I'm having a fight scene or something, I'm yeah, I need 5. And it's kind of like theater. I never did theater, and my acting is somewhat subtle, in front of the camera. But when I'm behind a booth, it's everything's super exaggerated and animated. And
You take it to 11.
fun, man.
Yeah.
It's a different. I'm sweating right now. Just thinking about it.
How was the process of finding your voice?
Next.
That process of finding your voice.
Yeah, I didn't do too much to my voice in terms of changing it, for animation, but finding who this guy was and the writing's really, really, really good and kind of paints a really good foundation for who this character is. And then I add little nuances of him, he's perceived as this bad guy, but then I add nuances of having him be really likable and kind of vulnerable. And that was really fun, being able to I see this guy, he's a hothead, he's a badass, but why? Why is he such a kind of an angry, lost kid? And what was fun was finding the dynamics of who he is and kind of going deeper, figuring that out, why he's vulnerable. That was fun.
What would this is Rob Lewis with you as well. Just real quick, I want to say that I really dig what you're doing right now. Everything that I've heard so far, it's awesome.
Right on. Yeah.
What would you say? Did you do any studying? Did you go into the history of the character? Was there anything in particular that you found really interesting or unique about it that kind of informed your voice?
No, I didn't do too much studying. What I loved about this character that differed from a lot of other characters that I've played that was kind of in this same genre was that he's got all the potential to be a hero and what it takes, but he's not quite there yet. And he's very doubtful of himself and doesn't really trust himself or others. And I thought that added a really cool dynamic to somebody who's kind of a hero. He's kind of a self-loathing hero, and I thought that was really sweet and kind of really interesting and different from anything that I've played thus far.
Something with depth.
Exactly, yeah. Johnny Depth is what I like to.
Johnny Depth.
That's not true. I just came up with it.
Thank you for that.
But that's something with depth. I was oh, dude, this guy's really rad because he's obviously angsty and I'm lost and. But finding what's underneath that, why he's like that, being able to come up with those backstories is what really is cool about the character. It's fun to play a hothead badass, but one who's like real and natural and vulnerable, and you figure out why, and he's just a real kid and kind of scared and lost. And that was what really attracted me to the character.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, especially like younger audiences who might be watching this will be the first time that they're introduced to Inferno in some kind of way.
Yeah, totally.
Is that like more exciting? Is that a little bit more? Does that make you a little more nervous?
Oh no, I love it. I think that's great. There's not too big of shoes to fill.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Marvel's got a lot of talent behind them, and everything is great that they put out, and every character is so well thought out. But we kind of get to have a little bit of freedom with them, and I love being on the forefront of things and kind of like pushing the envelope in a certain way, just doing something new.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. I think it's badass.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. I think the kids are really going to like it too, because they don't have anything to really relate it to. And it's going to be new for them, So I think it's going to be cool.
What's one thing that you hope they take away from the story of Marvel?
Oh my God, there's a lot of really cool messages in it. You can take a lot of stuff from each character individually and as the project as a whole. With my character, you kind of figure out that or what I hope people take away from him is that there's a lot behind the surface of somebody, and you kind of don't really know their past and what they went through, and it's okay to feel lost, and in order to kind of just be really honest with yourself. It's kind of what my character and this whole project actually is about. Just be super honest with yourself. What I think is cool about it for young girls who now have a female superhero that they can look up to, and it's closer to their age.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman's obviously a fantastic role model, but she's quite older than a lot of the girls who are watching these shows. I think it's really cool that they can hey, that girl, she's like me, and she's kicking ass, but she's also learning a lot of things and has a really good message and outlook on life, and is really comfortable with who she is, no matter the size or what they look like, and they're just I think there's a lot of cool things that you can take away from it. And guys, young kids, young dudes, they need more women cool role models in their lives too. I know I do. Women have a very gentle way of looking at life, and I think guys need more of that. If that makes any sense.
3, Squirrel Girl, aka the unbeatable Squirrel Girl, aka Doreen Green, aka my best friend.
Kamala!
She has pretty much all the awesome skills of a squirrel, like the ability to climb and leap really high.
Squirrel!
You're in the wrong table.
I know.
So, Milana,
Shut up, Jimmy.
So, to be a part of such a amazing show that promotes power of the body image, diversity, what does it feel like, and how proud you of it, and
I feel great. I feel so lucky to be a part of this. I mean, these are all things that I've stood for all along. And then I've also fallen victim to believing the opposite of, there have been so many times where I have been mad at my body for being what it was because of the images that have been taught to me about what is beautiful or what is, gonna get you work or what is going to get you love. And I'm really happy to be a part of something that's in a very small way just pushing a tiny bit more body acceptance of if you have hips, you're still lovable, which is, especially in animation, and a big part of it has to do with the way animation is done, is they create one kind of body, and then they put different faces on it. And with this, it's really wonderful because they've actually had to build different bodies. They've actually had to go back and customize these characters for the cartoon. So Squirrel Girl is a little bit curvier, and Miss Marvel is lankier, and and they've had to broaden their scope in order to tell the story. So it's a little bit harder for them, but that's also representative of the world. And when we talk about Squirrel Girl, I think it's important to know as much as she is, a little bit curvier, she's still pretty tiny.
Yeah.
Like, she's still average. She's probably the American average. And I think that there's still room for growth in terms of, like, how we represent female bodies in animation and in comics. And male bodies. But, you know, we have male comics of all sizes, and it's still very rare to see a size 10 or a size 16 woman in comics, and I would love that. Because some of the strongest, most badass women I know don't have to conform to, like, an all-protein diet, you know? Whatever. Hi.
This is Rob Lewis of Geekritique Presents. So I had a question. So I am currently studying in the grounding, so I know that you're
in LA?
You're a UCB vet.
Yep.
So my question would be,
That's a strong word. That means
I know your work well, just as someone who loves improv as well. So I actually was curious, since I'm kind of starting out, would you say that having that background just in sketch and improv in general maybe helped you in terms of just figuring out how to just use a little more empathy, acting?
I think what it teaches you is to think on your feet more, and I think it helps deal with fear that you have, you know, when you go into an audition, or even like when you're doing this kind of interview setup, you have to think on your feet. And improv is just a way to practice that in an intensive way. So, because you kind of only get to practice interviewing when you're interviewing, which is rare, right? Like it's not necessarily every day. So, I don't get to act every day or to get paid to act every day, but I can do a couple improv shows a week, or I can do stand-up a couple times a week, and that practice is really helpful in just going with the flow. And I think the more you do something, the less weight each independent show carries. You know, if I only did improv once a month, I would probably freak out about whether that show was great every time. But because I'm doing it so regularly, if I have a bad show, I almost don't remember by the time I do the next show.
You're able to yes and it more and kind of continue with the flow and just see where it goes.
I'm able to really cool TED Talk. I'm totally taking up all of our time. But there was this really cool TED Talk on improvisation where they hooked up jazz musicians' brains to see what part of their brain lights up when they're spontaneously creating. And what's interesting was that not a certain part of their brain lights up, but actually a certain part of your brain goes to sleep when you're doing that. And it's the part of your brain that you use to apologize or self-analyze. So I think that's what practicing improv does, is it forces you to turn off that part of your brain that's like, am I doing this perfectly? And with that, there's so much more freedom.
That's awesome. Thank you.
This is awesome to see you finally voicing her.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, even my relationship to Comic-Con has been so long. Like, I think this is maybe my 7th year going to Comic-Con, and I started by like passing out flyers when I was in college just to get a free ticket, and like selling T-shirts. And I did press one year when I had a YouTube channel, and like literally got kicked off of a carpet for asking inappropriate questions. No, not joking. And so like this evolution it's not lost on me. I definitely am very appreciative.
Awesome.
Thank you all so much.
I'm Kamala Khan, aka Ms. Marvel, aka the world's biggest superhero fan.
Hi.
Hey there.
Hello.
So Ms. Marvel has slowly become a more iconic character over the past couple of years, and I think it's exciting because this is kind of one of the first times that we're ever seeing her like in action. How exciting is that for you to actually like be the voice behind that?
It's a huge blessing for me. When I got Ms. Marvel 3.5 years ago, it was one of the most exciting things because I had heard of that character before, and I knew who she was and what she meant to everybody. So to find out that they were then bringing her into the animation side was amazing. And then to get the audition for it was even, I had my expectations super low as we do with audition. And then when I got it, it was just incredible. I didn't realize it was going to be such a long process, and also that I was gonna be able to voice her for so long. So the fact that I even got to voice her for such a long time, I never want to let her go. I'm a little obsessed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been huge for me.
Yeah.
what's it like to be a part of such a show that celebrates female empowerment, diversity, power of bodies?
It's incredible, and I think that it's something that's been needed. I'm always a huge advocate for fighting stereotypes, and especially in media, because I think media is hugely responsible for shaping opinions and ultimately policies that affect people. And I think responsible media is important, and there needs to be more of it. So to be a part of something that takes that to heart and understands that responsibility, and really does want to make the world a better place, I think this is a great starting point for us. To be a part of something like that is really special.
Hey, this is Rob Lewis at Achievers Presents. I just wanted to ask, first off, I think you do an amazing job.
Thank you.
What would you say kind of initially informed you on how to portray the character? Because obviously vocally you want to do different things than you would say if you were just on the screen, because you're conveying a lot more emotion with your voice, and sometimes that can be harder. I would say, what would you say informed you, and did you do any research initially when you started off in Marvel, or what would you say has informed you since? How have you changed it?
I did do research. I had read all the comics. She's younger, obviously, than I am, so that definitely informed a lot of it. But also the way she was written from the get-go was so fun and funny and full of life, and she's got so much enthusiasm and joy. So it was really just trying to bring that out of her as much as possible. Really showing the excitement that she feels being a superhero, finally being a superhero after she's been geeking out with her superheroes all her life. So that's the biggest thing. But I think they also make it very easy for me because it's written so well. Because she's written such a good thing. So for me, it's just trying to make sure that her joy comes through.
What would you say you love most about the character?
Her zest. Her zest for being a superhero. I think her pure enthusiasm, and she's at that point in her superhero career where she's just so excited to be there and so excited to be part of it, and also scared. She's terrified. And I think that's very real. I think everyone can relate to that. Being in a position that you've always wanted to be in, and now suddenly you're like, wait, do I even deserve this? Should I be here? So the realness of that, I think, is very endearing. Just to see her struggling with this thing that she's always wanted.
It's awesome. Thank you so much.
There's such great banter between your character Milana and their chef the improv background. Do they allow you guys any room for improv or anything during the sessions?
Sometimes they do. They, if you're like, I kind of want to change this up a little bit, they'll let you do stuff. But it's kind of harder with voiceover because you don't want to talk over one another, and you got to get clear things. But they're very open to it. They're like, can I say this thing instead? They're like, sure, go ahead. So they're pretty good about that. And Milana, she's awesome.
I mean, for some people, they haven't read the comic books, so this can be the first time for them, especially the much younger audience. Is there something particular you want them to take away from the story of Ms. Marvel, or from the story overall of Marvel Rising?
I think the biggest takeaway is judging someone based on getting to know somebody, and not based on what you think you know about them. That was the biggest takeaway for me, and that was the thing that I was most proud of in the whole show. So I think it's important for people to see that and to understand that, and to try to practice that themselves. And also just the relationship between Ms. Marvel and Squirrel. Their friendship, they're so supportive of each other, they're so excited to be together. Squirrel Girl's always so positive and pushing her along when Ms. Marvel doesn't believe in herself. And I think that kind of friendship is a friendship that we should all aspire to find and try to be that friend to.
Some sort of routine or warm-up you go through before getting into character, into the session, to find your voice that way?
No. There isn't. I've been voicing Kamala for so long that she's very much there, and so it's just about tapping into it. But it's for me, she's so easy to relate to, and 3.5 years of playing, it's just probably just being excited in the room, which isn't hard to do because I'm already excited to be in the room anyway.
And how was it working with the cast? Because Tyler had said that you guys kind of were able to voice together at the same time, which is not necessarily something that you find so often in animation. Yeah. So did that help with the dynamic between the characters? Did you have a lot more fun voicing them? Totally. There was a lot of laughter. There was a lot of, D. Bradley Baker is incredible, and watching him work is astounding. Yeah. And I think we were all in awe of him and just staring at him constantly, trying to figure out where his power comes from. But no, it's great. It really helped us build rapport, and Milana and I, get along really, really well. I mean, everyone does, but that special relationship between Ms. Marvel and Squirrel kind of came to as well.
So when Ms. Marvel was announced and the comics first started coming out, she was instantly extremely popular. The books sold off the shelves. Why do you think that was? What drew people to the character as opposed to other new heroes?
Well, I think I can't necessarily speak for everyone, but I will say from my perspective, I think we're starved for a positive, brown Muslim character. Comes from a Muslim family. We don't see that very often. We see a lot of negative portrayals. And I think when there was finally someone who was really representative of who Muslims are, it was exciting. And everyone wanted to support that. I know I wanted to support that. And I think we need more of that because there's so much of the opposite, the lies that are perpetuated that are dangerous. So I think that had a huge role in why she's important.
Thank you.
Thank you.